The most dangerous person in any confrontation isn't the loudest or the strongest. It's the calmest. Your boss just criticized your work in front of everyone. Your face is hot. Your heart is pounding. And in your head, a single sentence is, say something or shrink. You say nothing. You nod. You go home that night replaying it for hours, writing the perfect comeback you will never actually say. You think this means you are weak. You are wrong. In 1612, a man named Miyamoto Musashi walked onto a beach to face an opponent who wanted him dead. His 60th duel. He felt exactly what you just felt in that meeting. The difference between you and him was never the absence of fear. It was 4 things he trained his entire life to do with it: emotional distance, anticipatory awareness, strategic breathing, purposeful action. 4 principles, 1 method. And by the end of this video, that meeting, that argument, that moment you have been dreading, none of it will control you the same way again. Welcome to Void Dojo. Here is what's actually happening inside your body in that meeting, and it has nothing to do with weakness. The second your boss says something that stings, stress hormones flood your system immediately. Your heart rate spikes, your muscles tighten, your thinking narrows down to a tunnel. This is biology. Every human being on Earth reacts this exact same way. There was a swordsman, centuries ago, who fought 60 duels and never lost. People assume he wasn't afraid. He was. He felt the exact same spike you feel in that meeting. The only difference was what he did in the next 2 seconds. Most people become the emotion the moment it arrives. The anger shows up, and instantly, without choosing to, they are angry. Every word that comes out next is being driven by that wave, not by them. He discovered something simple. You can watch the wave instead of becoming it. He described it like watching clouds pass overhead. You see them, you know they're there, but you are not the cloud. Here is the exact practice. The next time you feel that spike, the hot face, the tight chest, the racing heart, say this to yourself, even silently, even in the middle of the moment. I notice I am feeling anger, not I am angry, not I am furious. I notice I am feeling anger. That single sentence creates a gap, a small, almost invisible space between you and the emotion, and inside that gap is the only place real choice exists. This isn't just an old idea. Brain imaging research backs it up directly. When people label an emotion in words, the prefrontal cortex, the rational, decision-making part of your brain, activates and calms the emotional centers down. Naming the storm quiets it. Therapists use this exact technique with patients today. Go back to that meeting. Your boss says something cutting. Before you respond, before you shrink, before you say nothing and regret it for 6 hours, I notice I am feeling embarrassed. I notice I am feeling angry. That's it. That's the gap. And that gap is the first principle, emotional distance. But distance by itself isn't enough, because once you've created that gap, you still need to know what's coming next. This is where even calm people get blindsided. The second principle is anticipatory awareness, the ability to sense what's coming before it happens, not mind reading, pattern recognition. That swordsman studied his opponents obsessively before every fight, their habits, their temperament, how they behaved under pressure. He prepared for exactly how they would react before the fight ever started. A skilled chess player doesn't guess 5 moves ahead. They recognize patterns. You can do the same thing with people. Here's why this matters biologically. When a confrontation catches you completely by surprise, your body dumps a massive, overwhelming wave of stress hormones all at once. That's the version where you freeze, or say something you regret, or shake for an hour afterward. But when you anticipate the conflict even 30 seconds before it happens, your brain releases that stress more gradually. Smaller doses, sharper focus instead of clouded panic. So before you walk into that meeting, before that hard conversation with your partner, before you respond to a message you already know is going to start something, take 30 seconds and ask yourself 3 questions. What is this person's likely emotional state right now? What do they actually want from this interaction? What are the 3 most likely ways they're going to react? That manager who criticizes everything, he's going to criticize this too. That's not a surprise anymore. That's data. The friend who avoids conflict, she's going to change the subject the second things get uncomfortable. You already know the move before she makes it. Professional hostage negotiators do this for a living. Before they ever speak to someone in crisis, they study that person's past behavior to predict what comes next. That preparation is the entire reason they stay calm in rooms where anyone else would panic. This isn't about controlling other people. It's about removing your own surprise. And surprise is where panic lives. Emotional distance creates the gap. Anticipatory awareness tells you what's coming through that gap. But you still need something physical, something immediate, to actually stay steady in the moment itself. The third principle is strategic breathing. The first thing that changes in a frightened or angry person is always the breath. Shallow, fast, uneven. Master your breath, and you master your mind. Here's the mechanism. Fast, shallow breathing activates your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. Slow, deep breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and recover state. One produces panic, the other produces calm. You get to choose which one runs your body, simply by changing how you breathe. Use this pattern. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Hold briefly. Exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Use it the next time tension rises in a meeting, in an argument, before you deliver news you know is going to land badly. In for 4, out for 6. Even a single cycle creates a noticeable shift. Your hands stop shaking, your voice steadies. Not because the threat disappeared, because your nervous system stopped treating a difficult conversation like a life or death emergency. 3 principles so far: distance from the emotion, awareness of what's coming, physiological calm through breath. But there's one more piece, and without it, the first 3 are just techniques for staying quiet. The 4th principle is purposeful action. Having a clear purpose is more powerful than having a strong emotion. Most people in conflict are fighting from anger, from pride, from fear of losing face. The calmest people in any room are fighting from objective. Every word they say serves a goal beyond just winning the immediate exchange. This changes everything about how a confrontation unfolds. When you react purely from emotion, you're playing the other person's game on their terms. The moment you anchor to a clear purpose, you control the direction of the entire interaction. Think about how arguments usually spiral. They start over one specific thing, a comment, a missed deadline, a tone of voice, and within minutes they've detoured into old grievances, personal attacks, things that have nothing to do with the original issue. That happens because both people lost their purpose. They're no longer trying to solve anything. They're just trying to win, or hurt, or defend. Here's the practice. Before you walk into that meeting, before that hard conversation, define your actual objective in one sentence. Not, I want to win this argument. Something real. I want my boss to understand I delivered exactly what was asked. I want my partner to feel heard, not defeated. Hold that sentence in your mind through the entire interaction. When emotions spike, silently repeat it. It becomes an anchor. Your words start aligning with where you actually want to end up, instead of with whatever sting you felt 30 seconds ago. This doesn't mean suppressing what you feel. It means your emotion finally serves your purpose, instead of your purpose getting hijacked by whatever emotion showed up first. 4 principles. Emotional distance creates space. Anticipatory awareness removes the surprise. Strategic breathing gives you physiological control. Purposeful action gives all of it direction. Here's something almost nobody talks about. Once you actually practice this, you start noticing something strange. A lot of the conflicts you used to dread simply stop happening. Not because people changed, because you stopped feeding them. Most confrontations only escalate because both sides keep reacting to each other's reaction. The moment you stop automatically firing back, a huge number of conflicts just quietly dissolve, with nobody declaring victory, because there was nothing left to fight over. The most powerful person in any room is not the one who wins every confrontation. It's the one who decides, calmly and on purpose, which confrontations are even worth having. Go back to that meeting one more time. Your boss says something cutting. This time, you notice the heat rising in your chest, and instead of becoming it, you simply notice it. You already expected he might react this way, so there's no shock, just recognition. You breathe in for 4, out for 6, once, without anyone seeing. And underneath it all, your purpose is already steady in your mind. Not to win, not to defend your ego, just to make sure the truth of your work is understood. You speak. Calm, clear, unshaken. That's not a different person. That's the same person you already are, with a method that's been refined for centuries, applied to a problem that's existed since the first 2 people ever disagreed about anything. Tell me in the comments, which of these 4 principles do you struggle with the most? Emotional distance, anticipatory awareness, strategic breathing, or purposeful action? I read every single one. The path is long. Walk it anyway. This is Void Dojo.